Bill 113. And then we have Joseph Simcox in support of Bill 113. Thank you. Lonnie.
Hello for council. My name is Lonnie Hanalei, and I'm in support of Bill 113. I'm a pretty in-the-moment person. I was raised in Honolulu on a farm. Currently, my parents have an organic cacao farm. And while I was out here in the lobby during the break, I came across the Island Sun Weekly, dated May 23rd, 2013. And in here, on the lifestyle section, it says, this summer, use these tips to avoid injury while gardening. And this is by the State Point. It says, protect yourself. Safety goggles and gloves shield your eyes and skin from chemicals, pesticides, and protect you. I'm going to keep that real simple and short, and I'm finished. Thanks.
Thank you. And just to explain to the council members in the audience, the reason we're taking 3 in Kona at this time is because I skipped 1 on the last round. So go ahead.
Aloha, my name is Kolauer Bandera, and thank you, County Council members, for hearing my testimony and listening to Bill 113 one more time. I do indeed hope that this is the final time for all of us. First, I'll tell you, I'm representing Kona Coffee Farmers Association. We have over 250 Kona Coffee farmers, and we support the compromised version that the bill is currently in with all of the changes. And I think that although I am not fixated individually on money, I do want to tell you the reason that in 2008, Kona Coffee Farmers Association worked with the County Council on the coffee and taro ban that is in place does come down to economics, because economics for any crop essentially is going to be struggling and caused a lot of stress by GMO, and specifically high-value crops like coffee will lose their entire value if GMO is permitted. And so I think that my point of saying that isn't just the economic reality, but also the truth that these things need to be looked at very carefully and very thoroughly, and all of the impacts considered before such a thing would be permitted. And I think the precautionary principle really addresses that we need to look at the environmental, but we need to look at all of the impacts. The farmers in this county are on this side of this island in Kona, and I think that I really encourage you to support this bill and vote for it so that we can continue moving forward healthily and happily, and you'll keep our farmers. So thank you for your time and attention.
Thank you.
Yes, hello. My name is Joseph Simcox. I'm a World Food Plan Authority. I study world food security, and I'm a consultant to industry all over the world in terms of agricultural innovation. As I listen to what is happening today, I'm particularly impressed that this honorable council is even considering this motion, because what they are doing is setting the possibility of making history and literally putting the little island of Hawaii on the world map in such an extraordinary way that there will be information and media coming from all over the world. Not only from CNN, BBC, all the channels, Al Jazeera, but you're actually setting precedent to receive millions and millions of dollars of free publicity to the little island of Hawaii. Now, we live in a digitalized age, and much of the information that we have is digitalized. And what we are seeing here is the fact that these academics who've come before us know more and more about less and less until they know everything about nothing. The real question is, where are the generalists? Who are the people talking about the future food on this island? The real future food has to do with studying and knowing the world's food plants. And I'm talking so fast here that I'm trying to remedy this by acting like John F. Kennedy. He spoke 300 words a minute. But what really is at hand is 300,000 species of plants on the planet. 12 of them are used by the majority of mankind. That means there's roughly 30,000 species of plants that have been used for food that aren't being studied. When we say knowing more and more about less and less, we aren't considering the real potential. The academics are only focusing and putting light bulbs in rooms that are are already lit up. What about the plants that we can grow as new, incredible crops on this island that will spur niche markets, that will create new economies? We don't have to raise corn and papayas, which are passé and being raised by other places. How about crops which are worth 10 times as much and don't even have established pests? The academics are arguing. They think they know what they're doing. Put them with me. I've lived and explored and studied food in more than 100 countries in the world, and I assure you, the City Council, if you vote this, you are changing history and bringing a light of incredible proportion to this wonderful island. And I'm a visitor. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, moving back to Waimea. You're next two, if you have two more.
I actually have three more. I have Roseanne Barr, who represents herself in support of Bill 113, and Jeff McCallum, who represents himself in support of Bill 113.
Thank you.
Hello, I want to say a few things. Our country has a problem because it keeps on rewarding the wrong things and the wrong people, and this is the time to stop that. I'm for science. I really like science, and scientific testing that goes on for more than 90 days with control groups that includes genetic markers and birth defects is exactly what's needed, and also what is being opposed by Monsanto and GMO companies. To the older woman who spoke, ma'am, you're 87, but that doesn't give you the right to make my grandkids get asthma. I'm a taxpayer too. I probably pay bigger taxes than you, and I pay my taxes because I want something back for them, and what I want back from my taxes is that my grandchildren live in a place where they are not being poisoned. And I really want to say the whole world, talk about supply and demand. I don't know where this kind of capitalism comes from. It's like communist capitalism or something. But in the world, the demand is huge for organic crops. So why would they not? Why would they think they have the right to come and poison my organic crops that I put a lot of my life's work and my life savings into raising? And now because you're 87 years old or whatever, you think you've got the right to take out my bees and my crops and to deny the Hawaiian people an economic future based on supply and demand. What is this? Are we in Russia or what? Thank you. Jeff?
Yes.
You have to be in camera. Maybe you don't.
No.
Jeff, you're on.
Hi. Yes. Hi. How are you?
Okay, Jeff, you're wasting your time. We can't see this.
Well, this is where I gotta be. Good afternoon. I'm in favor of Bill 113. I'm a farmer, a father, and a human who's concerned
Can you state your
GMO.
name, please? I'm sorry.
Jeff
We'll
McCallum.
start the time again.
Okay. My name is Jeff McCallum. Good afternoon. I'm in favor of Bill 113. I am a farmer, a father, and a human who is concerned with GMO. GMO is not the answer to the future of agriculture and safe feeding practices. The island should not be the testing grounds again for big business and its profits. We cannot afford to make this type of mistake. In regards to papaya farmers and ranchers, the profit might be there now, but will be short-lived. I'm not buying your products anymore, nor will the people when they become educated or sick. So you too should be in support of Bill 113 and produce a product that is safe and is desirable. We know that GMO is not right. I urge you to do the right thing and pass Bill 113.
Thank you. No applause, please.
And would you get them to adjust the camera in Waimea?
Okay. And Waimea, if you could adjust your camera, we could not see your second testifier.
Thank you.
Okay. And then turn your mic off. Okay. I'm going to move to Kohala. If there are two more testifiers there, please.
Yes, we have about 20 more signed up. Looks like some have left, but I think they're going to be back after they make the school run.
Okay.
Our next testifier, Michael Lineker, representing the United Global Mankind in support and to make comment on Bill 113, Draft 3.
Greeting, council members. My name is Michael Lineker, and I'm a concerned American. And the main thing I'm concerned are the GMO foods and those who employ to create these clone hybrid substances. GMO food, which are genes spliced to create higher crop yields have built-in pesticide properties which are toxic to humans, and which contain top-secret DNA fragments from all human genes, affect health, and create disease. I truly feel that humanity is now undergoing global genocide, cleverly orchestrated by ruthless, aggressively relentless big-name companies like Monsanto, Coca-Cola, Pepsi, Nestle's, General Mills, and others. I am sorry this sounds like some off-the-wall theory, but I dare say, unless we all come somewhat closer to these truths, our very existence, including our children not yet born, will be just that, a theory. I'm part of a survey army of grassroots activists who are committed in the ongoing battle to reclaim our food and farming system, part of a larger battle to transform the entire political and economic system. This is why I support Bill 113. I'm sorry, I'm sure many of us have learned the hard way that corporations and wealthy elite control not only the mass media, but the federal government, the Supreme Court, and the regulatory agencies such as the FDA, the USDA, and the EPA. After decades of sending petitions and lobbying the White House, Congress, and the FDA, no longer available, with no avail, became clear that the political elite care more about their wealthy campaign contributors than they do their constituents, including our 93% who support mandatory labeling of genetic engineered foods and purifying the farming system. Thank you for your time.
Our next testifier is Albert Hegma, representing himself, Organic Farming and Pacifica News, speaking in support and to make comment on Bill 113, Draft 3.
I will reiterate things I've said in previous testimony. Number one, there's rampant corruption and collusion between government at all levels, top to bottom, even to the local levels of these small towns on the island. It's been revealed who is taking campaign money, what perks are given to communities, and the University of Hawaii by Monsanto. $80,000 was given to one particular individual to stop the GMO labeling. $200,000 plus were given to other political leaders. Now I'm going to jump to another subject. How come at the Monsanto main office, some of the employees prefer organic food? How is it that 300,000 to 1 million natives lived on this island and were able to feed themselves without GMO? How is it that there were so many cows running around during the period of King Kamehameha I, originally given as a gift a few cows, that they had to cull the herds before GMO was invented? Well, it seems like it's not necessary. It seems like it's particularly for the profit of a few at the expense of the many. Recently, last evening, or this evening, because I work at night on a online news site, I ran across an article of a banned herbicide, banned 20 years before. The women were retested, and they still had the herbicide in their system, and it's known to cause infertility and womb development, fetal development outside of the womb. These things go on for generations. What is sustainable? On the Monsanto site it says sustainable. What a great lie that is. Sustainable is 300,000 to 1 million people living without foods being brought in or genetically modified foods.
Next speaker, please. Or was that the second one? Okay, I'm sorry. Then we'll move to Pahoa and take 2 speakers there.
First, we have Mr. Jeffrey Cavell, representing himself, and Lynn Howe. And following him will be Mr. Jeffrey Last, representing himself, both in support.
Good afternoon, council members. My name is Jeff Rauch, and I speak in support of Bill 113. I'm also speaking for my partner, Lynn Howe, who's not here today. As a farmer, it is clear and understandable that no farmer wants to be told what farming practices they cannot use, or in other words, a narrowing of the toolbox Yet the results of unwise choices are apparent almost everywhere in American agriculture. Hormone and antibiotic-based meat grown in appalling concentrated animal facilities, grains and vegetables drenched in a sea of agricultural toxics, resulting in poison residues on our foods and the wholesale impoverishment of our nation's soil and wildlife, contaminated water everywhere, in the Gulf of Mexico, an agricultural dead zone. Ironically, we are living longer as our children are getting sicker. Much of the world looks aghast as we demand their acceptance of our adulterated food. Our claims of safety and scientific consensus deny the reality. Sound familiar? The current corporate-generated genetic food revolution with its proprietary toxic baggage is just the latest insult to human and environmental health. Margaret Willey's much-needed bill to protect our health and our INA has, in my opinion, been almost eviscerated in order to do the impossible. Please, everyone. Predictably, now no one is happy. Kauai's mayor has chosen to side with the corporations and business as usual. Our council seems unable to make a firm, precautionary decision. A functioning democracy needs protective regulatory law and leaders with a long-term view. Who would have thought that a future of reduced toxics and rejection of corporate control of the food supply would be so contentious? Thank you for supporting Bill 113.
Thank you. Next speaker, please.
Aloha, Council. Thank you for this bill, even though I think it's been weakened. My name is Jeffrey Last, and I've lived here for 30 years, and I'm in support of this bill. Wake up. This GMO issue is about money and control. The University of Hawaii and Hawaii Ag Department get large amounts of money in grant form and in other ways from the GMO companies. This is a worldwide thing, and it's insidious is what's going on, our universities. Other countries are waking up. Politicians get campaign contributions from these companies, all in return for favors. Some of you have probably gotten phone calls from the powers to be about this bill with lots of advice on how to vote. Kamehameha Trust leases vast tracts of land to these companies. I bet you got calls possibly from them too. Look at the mayor of Kauai. Do you think he got phone calls? All this money that they spend is tax deductible. In other words, the government pays in lost tax revenues so these large companies can fix decisions in their favors. You know, the science of genetic modification is not so bad by itself. It is the perversion of the science by big corporations for control and power that is what's bad. You probably heard about the rapist farmer in Canada who had been growing rapist for years and years, saving his seed for next year's crop and selling some to his neighbors for them to raise next season. A GMO rapist was planted across the road from this large farm. Between the wind and the bees, his crop was cross-pollinated by the GMO crop. The next years, when he went to sell his seed, the GMO company bought some seed and found the gene. They sued the farmer for proprietary rights, won in court, and he had to pay for his own seed that he harvested. That is the thing that's going on. I think it is quite simple. Do you support big corporate interests, which are the same as the constitutes, use profits, or are you on a higher ground? Can you do it for the people? Protect the environment and the people. People's whole lives and their existences are at stake. Vote for this bill. It is a step in the right direction. Moral ground. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. Back here in Hilo, Lucas Cambe.
Hi, my name is Lucas Kambick, and I study agroecology at UH Hilo. Each transgenic crop has to be assessed on its own merits. Transferring a gene sequence into a plant doesn't magically make poison. There are many transgenic crops with genes for higher nutrient content. The best known example is the rice with a gene taken from corn that makes vitamin A. These are traits that you'd think you'd want to advertise, but all GMO crops have been demonized and lumped together with toxic chemicals. This bill does not represent the path of caution. Fear is an unpredictable emotion. There are entire organizations and millions of dollars devoted to inspiring indiscriminate fear of GMO crops, regardless of what the transgene is and how much testing the crop has been through. The multi-billion-dollar organic food industry has a lot to gain from that. Other activist groups object to GMOs for philosophical or religious reasons. Golden rice is a public transgenic crop that could save millions of impoverished people from crippling vitamin A deficiency. Its release has been delayed by wealthy activists who feel no shame in vandalizing test fields and spreading misinformation to small farmers. I hope that no one on the council wants to be a part of that. I appreciate the effort to come up with something better. We could pass a law that favors small public researchers over corporate seed suppliers. That would be groundbreaking. Instead, we're about to make a law that could have tragic consequences for other places that look to us as an example. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Okay. Mr. Hanalei Fergus.
Aloha. I'm Hanalei Fergus. I'm the spokesperson for Nakapuna Moko Kiavi. I've testified in this matter in the past. I certainly concur with most of the testimony that was given in support of Bill 113. We are in favor of that bill also. A couple of gentlemen ago talked about the proprietary ownership of these seed crops. This is a very important thing for the future to be thinking of. We're not seeing a lot of that in the open yet here because it hasn't been planted enough here. But once it does, in fact, if any of those crops contain those transgenic footprints, they become it becomes the proprietary ownership of the transgenic corporations. In other words, you could plant your whole field with corn, and if they find that corn to be having their gene, that crop belongs to that company. It no longer belongs to that farmer who worked for it. This is a very important factor that has to be included in this thought. I certainly appreciate the efforts that the Kona Council is doing, and I'm very, very concerned about this whole idea of losing home rule. This is something that is very, very startling. That's taxation without representation, and those are the grounds for revolution. So, anyway, thank you very much for your time. Thank you very much.
Okay, going back to Kona, your next two testifiers.
Our next two testifiers, Dre Anthony in support of Bill 113 and Sahara India in support of Bill 113.
Thank you.
Aloha Council, my name is Dre Anthony and I'm in support of Bill 113, Bill 79, or any other labeled anti-GMO bill. I would like to thank Margaret Willey and all the hard work she's put towards this, and any other council member that has worked to try to achieve the goals of making this island anti-GMO. I feel that I'm here of the will of the INA, and I feel that I have all my friends and family in South Kona supporting my decision to sit here and testify against anything GMO. And I'd like to make this very clear to the council that we're not going to be deferred, we're not going to be dismissed, we're not going to be swept under the rug just like the other Hawaiian Islands. We're going to fight as hard as we can on a political arena, on a musical arena, on a political arena, any arena to get our point across that we do not want genetically modified or genetically engineered organisms on this island. This is the third or fourth time. This started July 2nd. We're not going to give up. So we need the council to vote on an anti-GMO bill, whether it be perfect, not perfect, have holes, this, and that, but we are not giving up. The people on this island love this island. This island's been going great for generations and generations before us. We do not need genetically modified crops for our well-being, and every day we should think and take steps that make this island more self-sustainable. And bringing genetically modified crops and products to this island is not the solution or the right answer. And on that note, I've said everything I need to say. Council, please vote to protect this bill. Please pass this Bill 113. And thank you for your time, Council, and aloha and mahalo.
Thank you. Next speaker, please.
Aloha, Council. My name is Sahara India, and I am an artist and an organic gardener. I've lived in Hawaii since 1978, so I've been watching changes come. We were first very concerned about what was happening to people's health with sugarcane, and now that we're no longer growing it, my family has land on the Hamakua coast. We know how depleted that land is and what they have to do, what they're faced with for the future. And as everyone knows, the island that I live on is environmentally sensitive. We have volcanic off gas. We have depleted uranium in our soil, so we have radioactive soil. We have coqui frog. We have fire ants. We have the beetle borer. And I was a coffee grower. I won't call myself a farmer, as again I said I'm a gardener. And we also had bees, and now we have no bees. And then my research shows me that part of the colony collapse can definitely be pinpointed back to pesticides and GMOs. I know that we all know what the right thing to do is. It's just that we're such a capitalistic society that the bottom line is always profit. In 1978, I went to Fiji. I was going to move to Fiji, but I didn't have enough money in the bank account to actually go to live there. When I got there, coin money, it said, food for people, not for profit. That's my bottom line. Food is for people. It is not for profit. For anybody out there on the council who hasn't seen King Corn, please look at that, because it shows that now DNA, our DNA, has corn in it, and it should not. So, please pass Bill 113. I am definitely in support of it, and we need to start working hard on the Big Island to keep it going in the right direction with no GMOs. Thank you.
Thank you. Moving to Waimea. 2 more testifiers, please.
I believe this is our last testifier, Sean James Levy. He's in support of himself, and supports Bill 113.
Hey, aloha, honorable council members. Sean James Levy, testifying from Waimea here. Strong support for Bill 113. This bill has reasonable exemptions. You got the emergency exemption, if there's drought for the cattle farmers, you could test it in the lab and come before you and deploy that. There's that in place. You get the indoor testing exemption, you got the grandfather clause in there. So this is a reasonable bill, which in strong support of. Now, I'm also here on behalf of my brothers at Taro Farmer. He's in Waipio today, and I just want to remind the councilors of that episode of how the taro GMO ban was put in place, and I don't know what to say, on behalf of the taro farmers, except they don't want no damn GMO taro. We even have problems with the hybrid that the university puts out, and a lot of it is consumer perception. The price goes down. And so that's why I hope these papaya farmers, these poor guys, I hope they getting some supplemental income from Monsanto them for their appearance to supplement their rock bottom farm gate prices. You saw the price drop after how many millions of lobbying the Japanese export market, and with the taro, it's a consumer perception thing. I don't want any of that. A cultural issue. It would completely manipulate it and contaminate all of our other traditional varieties. And so the solution, like our squash farmer, Waimea squash farmer, is in regenerative techniques. Get off the chemical drugs. Every farmer that's gone off the chemical drugs seen their yield boost. Their prices go up. Here I was reading this book here, Adding Value to Locally Grown Crops in Hawaii. You get your price goes up, consumer perception, price point goes up if it's Hawaii grown, locally grown, organic, and then you get your price go down, mass-produced chemical methods. So this is, for the local farmers, GMO ain't the way. It's an export thing. It's a technology export. $250 million in seed corn, they pay no GET tax on that. And so, in any case, I'm rambling here, but I thank you for your strong support and the opportunity to testify.
Thank you very much. And Donnie, if anybody else comes into Waimea, please let me know. Otherwise, I'm going to skip you in the rotation.
Thank you.
Okay. Kohala. 2 more testifiers, please.
Our next testifier is Susie Sutton, representing herself, speaking in support of Bill number 113.
Aloha, my name is Suzanne Sutton. I am representing also Lee Riddle, Mary Winters, and Geraldine Littell, and my family. We support the passing of Bill 113 as is. Stop messing with our DNA. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Our next testifier is Hannah Roberts, representing herself, her partner Emily Pitti, unborn child patients, Jan Roberts, and Mimi George, speaking in support and making comment on Bill number 113.
Thank you very much.
My name is Hannah Roberts, and I'm a naturopathic physician, and I'm really in support of this bill because just in medicine, we're seeing this unprecedented rise in autism, Alzheimer's, cancer, allergies, and a lot of this comes back to the health of the gut. And, we don't really have the scientific experiments that we need to show the safety of these, but what we do have is things like CAFO pig farms, where in America they can't even make sausages from the intestines. They'll just fall apart. So where are we getting these nice intestines from? We're getting them from places like New Zealand, where they're not raised on genetically modified food. And as a naturopath, we look at the gut is the seat of health of the whole body, and so this is really upsetting to me. And other thing I think that we need to really take a protective stance is that genetically modified food is it's genetic pollution that once it gets out, you can't take it back. And this is multiple generations that we're talking about. And there's also been a lot of talk I've heard today about these sort of fanciful claims about how genetically modified food is going to save us from, we'll have this golden rice. And it's all of these claims have really never come to pass. And all we need is a few more moringa trees, or, there's so many solutions that we already have. And so instead we have nightmare solutions, like if you look at India, where their crops are failing, they have all these allergies, and also, farmers are committing suicide en masse. And this is pretty much all across the world. If you look at what they're saying, we're going to have these drought-resistant things and this and that, it's just really lies when it comes down to it, when you actually look at the science and what's come to pass. And so I really am in support of this bill and think it's a great opportunity to protect this island and future generations. Thank you.
Thank you.